Hello guys, and welcome to my new video. Board up your windows, secure your doors because a little breeze is coming, or rather a fully grown storm, e.g. even worse, a hurricane. In the last time we built a blizzard sorceress, now we are dealing with a poisonous tornado spewing werewolf that encircles every foe, makes them lose orientation, poisons them and literally blows them out of existence. Pun intended, of course. Today I'm going to show you guys how to build this druid and how to correctly utilize his potential. As always, I am not a min-maxer. I rather have diverse builds who are just plain fun to play, and not a best build kind of type that everybody else is playing these days, so just to freshen up the pace while farming for experience, mats, or whatever you're up to. So without further ado, enough talk, have a chat. This is Arbol, our rabid wolf. Quick thank you to Ace of Spades before we start for creating the foundation to this build. As usual, I have that link in the description below. Let's start with the equipment. As we are fairly deep into the season, well, pretty much almost in the end of the season, this is more or less an endgame setup, which variations I'll give to you as well, just in case you do not have the mythics. For our helmet, this will be our centerpiece, the Tempest Roar, with a focus on willpower and wild impulses, together with the runes Ahu and Shan in order to crit and overpower. The chest armor is the Shroud with Sir and Que, to get an Earthen Bulwark up for a barrier. Alternatively, you can use the Mad Wolf's Glee with a focus on werewolf attack speed and ferocity damage boost. For our gloves, we will use the Storm Chasers aspect to drag out our enemies. A greater affix on +2 tornadoes is very highly recommended, so make sure to put some werewolf attack speed on it as well. For the pants, we use the Tibault's Will with a focus on crit chance. These pants give us our resources back every time we hit Unstoppable. For our boots, we use the Direwolves aspect for Grizzly Rage becoming a werewolf skill and for more movement speed when we shift. Make sure you get the increase in hurricane duration as a temper here. For our weapon, we use a one-hand sword for crit damage and the aspect of the Rabbit Beast for turning our tornadoes in swirls of poison and demise. Try to get us some crit and vulnerable damage on this. I have not had the chance to get this perfect now, but that is alright. On top of it, temper a chance for tornado projectile to cast twice on it. For our totem, we use the aspect of the rampaging werebeast to get more damage out of our crits. Here we use the temper chance on projectiles as well. For the amulet, we make use of the aspect of retaliation for more damage the more we are fortified. The amulet is always a pretty tough one to get, but make sure you get at least Envenom on it. Toxic Claws and Quick Shift would also be nice, or well, more or less perfect if you get all of them. But yeah, that's also always kind of a lottery kind of thing. So ring number 1. Over here on Starless Skies for resource purposes, and ring number 2, the aspect of the Unsatiated for more damage according to our spirit. Make sure to temper werewolf attack speed on here as well, unless you have already capped it out, then you can freely change that. If you do not have the Ring of Starless Skies yet, you can use the Rampaging Werebeast on a second ring, and then instead of using the one-hand sword, you can use a two-handed weapon in here just to bolster up your damage. We will now continue on with our skill tree. We start out with Maul and move to our main skill, the Primal Tornado. Then we continue with the Preserving Earthen Bulwark, Preserving Cyclone Armor, and the Preserving Bloodhowl. After that, we put 1 point into the Savage Hurricane. And last but not least, we go all in our Supreme Grizzly Rage. And then we finish this up with Lupine Ferocity.
My demons are quiet.
So, which skills do we assign to Arabol? Our primary skills will of course be the Tornado and Grizzly Rage. Secondary, the Bloodhowl, the Cyclone Armor, the Hurricane, and Maul. Moving on to our Spirit Boons. For the Deer Boon, we use Wariness in order to get some damage reduction against elites. This build can feel a little squishy in high density packs or pits, so this is my first pick to survive these one-shots from rares, bosses, and ads. So pretty much a defense insurance. Then we get on to the Eagle. Here we use the Avian Wrath and the Iron Feather. The Avian Wrath, we have it as a mandatory skill here because it gives off a 40% crit damage multiplier. Then the Iron Feather, just to get a 30% plus on our maximum life to have a little bit more survivability here. Moving on to Wolf. Over here we use Energize. That scales with Lucky Hit, and this restores our spirit to the max. And last, on our Snake Boon, we use Calm Before the Storm because of the 10% chance on nature magic hits to reduce our ultimate cooldown by 2 seconds. Tornado spam triggers it constantly, so this will more or less give us a near 100% uptime for our werewolf buffs. Let's move on to our Paragon Board. As we still haven't even hit 250, we still have a lot of room of improvement. As always, I focus on damage first, and then I work on our tankiness, so it's kind of a glass cannon start. On our starter board, we will use the Keeper Glove right over here for more non-physical damage, and we continue on with the Heightened Malice board for more poison damage, and pair that with the Spirit Glove for more crit damage. After that, we move over to Lust of Carnage for more spirit regeneration and more damage on crits, together with the Dominant Glyph to have more damage on overpower. From here on, we continue south to the Thunderstruck board for a plus on crits and a plus on crit hit chance. For Glove here, we use Earth and Sky for even more damage on crowd-controlled enemies. We use our Mercenaries for that on top. More to that in a second. For our last board, we go into the Constricting Tendrils for more damage against poisoned enemies. And we have another one on Lucky Hit that increases our poison damage in general. As a glyph, we use Fang and Claw to get more damage in on close enemies. For Mercenaries, we have Subu as a hired mercenary. We go the left path to the right in order to get more crowd control. And similar to Altkin, we use Field of Languish here, and we will have it procced with our tornadoes so that we can also get this little plus on crowd control. So how does this build work? This Tornado Druid build is a Storm Werewolf Hybrid Malice. The Tempest Roar turns all Storm skills into Werewolf skills, unlocking a massive synergy across the core Storm and Poison damage multipliers. And as a core damage is, well, of course the Tornado, We will spam that nonstop as our main nuke. The Storm Chasers aspect makes Twisters seek out enemies, pulls non-elites into a vortex, and ramps up the damage by 10 to 30% per foe that is trapped inside. So we have a very high AoE annihilation going on here. On top of that, we have a poison conversion with the aspect of the Rabid Beast, which flips all direct damage towards poison, triggering Toxic Claws for extra damage on every hit. And we have Maul that alternates in for Quick Shift and Heightened Senses stacks, which builds Spirit buffs damage and speed. For our ultimate and our multipliers, we use the Grizzly Rage. We pop that after stacks for Unstoppable, for 45, for 100% crit damage via the aspect of the Rampaging Werbeast. That procs on werewolf form uptime. We use Calm Before the Storm for a more or less 100% uptime via lucky hit resets on nature hits. In our crit scaling, we use the Ring of Starry Skies to push our crit chance. Every crit also juices up our Rampaging Werbeast even further. And for our resource management, we have more or less an infinite spirit with the Ring of Starry Skies, and of course with Energize to get refunds on hits. So Tornado and Maul generate that with stacks. We pretty much have no downtime and can purely spam everything. For our defenses, we use the Cyclone Armor, which pulls in packs. We get a 20% damage reduction. We use the Hurricane to get vulnerable up and enemy damage reduction as well. Also the Blood Howl for heal and attack speed bursts, Tibault's Will, and the Shroud add an extra offense layer and a resource layer. Together with our Boon's Wariness and Iron Feather, we can tank a little bit more. And pretty much what we have is our key interaction, the Tempest Roar, which blends our categories for Storm multipliers, the Werewolf bonuses, and of course with the Direwolf's aspect boots. How does this build play? You pre-stack your buffs, alternate between Maul and Tornado to get your Heightened Senses and Quick Shift up and to get Provocation onto 10. After that you pop your Grizzly Rage and you're pretty much good to go. In between you can group your enemies while casting Cyclone Armor, and the Storm Chasers aspect will take care of the rest. If you have your cooldown reduction high enough, you can easily just go through here and have a 100% upkeep on your Hurricane, just like that. And you will not have to proc your Provocation again. With this, your Hurricane and the Tornadoes will always overpower, and you get this massive damage upgrade here. This is pretty much the same like you use in the Cataclysm Druid, but since, well, Cataclysm is getting a little boring, we use Tornadoes. And this is pretty much all there is to this build. All you do now is you shred and blow apart every dungeon you want to. You can go up to a fairly 80 to max 90 in the pit if you want to. For the rest, it is just a very, very relaxed, fun gameplay loop you can use to freshen up your gameplay. So that's pretty much all, folks. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, or even subscribe for more videos coming your way. This build now has been my last experimental build for this season. The only other build I'm going to show you guys will be my farm build, which will be the Paladin you might have seen in my character selection menu. I will show that to you how I did that. I will make a pretty funny hockey video out of that because this, the Paladin is just so broken. Until then, as always, you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and then see you next time. Ciao, ciao.